Once upon a time, in a small village nestled deep within the heart of Africa, there lived a woman named Adaku. Adaku was known far and wide for her beauty, her grace, and her charm. But despite her outward appearance, Adaku had a heart as cold as the darkest night. Adaku was married to a kind and hard-working man named Kwame. Kwame toiled day and night in the fields, providing for Adaku and their 3 children. Yet, no matter how much he gave, Adaku was never satisfied. She would complain about the food he brought home, saying it was not good enough for someone of her stature. She would criticize the clothes he bought for her, claiming they were not fashionable enough. And she would belittle him in front of their neighbors, embarrassing him with her sharp tongue. Despite all this, Kwame remained patient and continued to love his wife with all his heart. He hoped that one day she would see the error of her ways and appreciate all that he did for her. One day, a traveler passing through the village heard of Adaku's ungratefulness and decided to teach her a lesson. The traveler, who was actually a wise old woman in disguise, approached Adaku and offered her a magical potion. This potion, the old woman said, will grant you any wish you desire. But be warned, for every wish you make, there will be consequences. Adaku's eyes sparkled with greed as she accepted the potion. She wasted no time in using it to fulfill her every desire. She wished for a grand mansion to replace their humble hut, and it appeared before her eyes. She wished for servants to cater to her every whim, and they appeared at her doorstep. She wished for jewels and fine clothes, and they adorned her like a queen. But with each wish, the consequences grew more severe. The mansion became haunted by restless spirits. The servants turned against her, whispering dark secrets in the dead of night, and the jewels and fine clothes began to weigh her down like chains. Still, Adaku was not satisfied. She continued to wish for more and more, blind to the destruction she was causing. Until one day she made a wish that she could not undo. In her arrogance, Adaku wished for eternal youth and beauty, believing that it would make her truly happy. But as soon as the words left her lips, her body began to wither and shrink until she was nothing more than a wrinkled old crone. Terrified and alone, Adaku realized the folly of her ways. She had sacrificed everything for her own selfish desires, and now she was left with nothing. In the end, Adaku learned the true meaning of gratitude and humility. She begged the wise old woman for forgiveness and pleaded for a way to undo her wishes. And though the old woman took pity on her, she knew that some lessons could only be learned the hard way. And so Adaku spent the rest of her days wandering the village, telling her story as a cautionary tale to all who would listen. And though she was no longer the most beautiful woman in the village, her heart had been transformed, and she had finally found true happiness in the simple joys of life. As Adaku continued to wander the village, her story spread far and wide, becoming a cautionary tale told to children and adults alike. People would gather around her, listening intently as she recounted her journey from ungratefulness to humility. Some would shed tears of empathy, while others nodded solemnly, recognizing their own faults reflected in her story. Adaku became known not for her beauty or her charm, but for her wisdom and her grace. She dedicated her days to helping those in need, offering a kind word or a helping hand wherever she could. Over time, the villagers came to admire and respect Adaku, not for the riches she once possessed, but for the strength of character she had gained through her trials. And though she could never undo the consequences of her wishes, Adaku found solace in knowing that she had found redemption in the eyes of her fellow villagers. And so the tale of Adaku served as a reminder to all who heard it that true beauty lies not in outward appearances, but in the kindness and gratitude that dwell within the heart. Thanks for watching. Please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel.